First of all, I just want to say what a privilege and an honor it is to be here today. I want to start off by thanking the Pima County Hall of Fame, the Selection Committee of Pat Darcy, for this award today. To be included in this group of inductees is truly an honor and a bit humbling. I had the great fortune, as Pat explained, to grow up in a very sports-oriented family. My father, a football player at U of A, my brother, basketball, and my mother was quite an athlete in her own right. She was probably the most competitive out of us all. And she introduced me to the sport of tennis at a very young age. She encouraged me to take my first lesson with Gary Engelbrecht when I was 9 at the Tucson Racket Club. And from that moment, I was off and running. I knew that I loved the sport. I knew that I wanted to excel at this individual sport. And Andre Agassi once described tennis as the loneliest sport there is. And I remember being quite young, 10, 11, 12 years old, and being out and playing these matches for 3.5 hours. Known as a grinder a little bit. And you're out there by yourself, because in junior tennis there's no coaching. And so you're out there trying to figure it out. You're out there trying to figure out, like, how can I win, how can I lose? And then, for me at least, it was like the weight of the world was on my shoulders when I was losing, right? I didn't take my losses very well. I tended to define myself by my results. But so, there's one moment where that sticks out to me now, as I look back. I was probably 13 or 14 years old. I was playing a national tournament in Florida. And back then I had the great privilege of traveling with my coach. And so I was taking my most recent loss pretty hard. And so Gary sat me down and tried to put perspective around what was happening. And he told me that in 20 years, you're never going to remember this loss. You're never going to remember your ranking. All you're going to remember are the friends you made along the way. And in that moment, internally, I thought he was crazy. Of course I'm going to remember this loss. Of course I'm going to remember my ranking. But now here we are 37 years later, and a little bit more wisdom under my belt. And there's so much truth in his words, right? There's so much wisdom in what he shared. And just like everyone else in here that Sam so beautifully put earlier, it's like so many of those friendships are this year with me today. Those people that helped me along the way. People that all started in Pima County, a place where I was born and raised, a place that had a tremendous impact on who I am today. And so I want to just start out by acknowledging my 3 coaches who were with me growing up. All 3 of them are Hall of Famers in their own right. All 3 of them taught me about tennis, about life, through their wisdom, their guidance, their support, but more importantly, their modeling. Who they are, what they stood for, their integrity and their humility. First was my high school coach, Jeff Skirman. For that, it wasn't so much about the tennis strategy, but more maybe the mental approach. And he provided a different perspective from a football coach, invaluable. Becky Bell, my college coach, she believed in me. She believed in me and gave me an opportunity to continue the Wildcat tradition in my family. Her coaching created the conditions for me to get better each and every year of college, and that doesn't always happen. And so, but it was more than the athlete I was becoming, it was the adult I was becoming, and that was just made better by simply being around her. Her friendship, her support, her love continues to this very day, and I'm so grateful. I love you back. To my very first coach, my mentor, and also, more importantly, my dear friend. Words cannot express the impact you've had on my life and who I am today. From that first moment from court 10 to 42 years later, this moment, your friendship, your support, your encouragement has been invaluable to me, and I'm forever grateful for that. So from there, those are a lot of people that were very impactful in my life. I also want to thank the Andersons and the Canucks, friends to my family for over 65 years, and best friends to me my entire life. Your love, your support, your encouragement means the world. To Casey and Brooke, fellow Dorados, fellow Wildcat athletes, and more importantly, friends to both my mom and to me, on and off the court. To my girlfriends here today, Shannon, Tracy, Jennifer, KP, Marcy, you guys have always been there for me, always had my back, and I'm so touched that you are here today. Thank you. To my aunt, Banni, and my uncle Doug, words cannot express the love and appreciation I have for you both. You've been with me in the highs and the lows, through the sadness, but also the joy. Thank you. And then to my husband, Gordon, and my two beautiful daughters, Remy and Tatum. They came down from Bend, Oregon to be here with me today. You three mean the world to me, and I love you dearly. I also want to express my love and appreciation for my father, Jack. He was a role model for me growing up. He always provided perspective about being an athlete, about being a student, and growing into being an adult. He provided the opportunity for me to excel at this sport with all the lessons and the travel and the coaching. Thank you, Dad, I'm grateful. And then lastly, I want to dedicate this over to my mother, the glue who held us all together. She passed away at the beginning of 2020 after battling Alzheimer's. I miss her terribly, and I love her dearly. Love you, Mom. And just lastly, I want to reiterate what an honor and a privilege it is to be here. So thank you so much.